All right, everyone, let's talk today about how to shade a cube correctly. This is going to be a really important skill for the final project that you have in class this trimester. So let's discuss this. We talked about it very briefly at the beginning of the trimester when we took our art notes. So for the cube, you're going to be using your step-by-step value scale, not your gradient value scale, just your step-by-step. So we should be having 3 different values placed on this cube. Now if we take a look at our step-by-step value scale, we can see our darkest, our medium dark, our medium light, and our light. Okay? So what we're going to do is take our darkest and our medium. This will be the darkest value, our medium value, and then I'm going to actually put a little bit of value on my other one. So even on this one, 1 is the lightest right here. I'm going to put a little bit of value on this cube because I want to make this cube red. That's what we're going for. So I'm going to put a little bit of value. It's going to be a really, really light value. I'm going to be saying that my light source is coming from the top. So my lightest value is going to be right here at the top of the cube. I'm going to put my darkest value here and my medium value here. So you need a dark, medium, and light. So I'm going to start out with the darkest value. And remember, anything that is vertical goes up and down. Right? So if a fence post is sticking out of the ground, you would draw it with a vertical line up and down. So to show that this cube is standing up, we are going to be using vertical lines along here. We're going to fill in our darkest value. Remember that you want to keep going left to right. We don't want to do the top and then the middle and then the bottom. Just keep those vertical lines going across, and you will fill that in. Remember to also fill white spaces in. Make sure not to color over the lines. If you do, you'll need to erase just a little bit. Now be careful of balding up at the top edges and down at the bottom and along the sides. Make sure you go slower along those areas to really make sure you get it right up next to the edge of the cube. It's nice to start with the darkest value because that way you know what's absolute darkest. If you do have little bits, you can turn left to right, you can kind of change the diagonal to pick up those edges that are maybe not quite perfectly colored, but you want that as dark as you can be. Don't press super hard. Sometimes that's our key, our thought process is to just push a lot harder. You do want more pressure, but you don't need to grind into the paper. We shouldn't be ripping the paper to accomplish this task. Next thing we're going to do is the top. I like to do my darkest and then my lightest when we do the cube so that we can figure out what our medium value is going to be. It's going to be halfway in between the two of them. So let's go up top and do our lightest value. Now because this is a flat surface on top, remember we need to change the direction of this to left to right. Correct? We don't want to have a cube that has vertical lines drawn on the top. That's going to mess with our perspective and our brain's not going to understand what's happening. So I'm going to hold the pencil farther back. Notice I'm not leaving white spaces. I'm still filling in those spaces as best I can. And I'm just moving left to right. It's a lot quicker to do this a little lighter, right? Filling in those spaces as best I can. Again, make sure there's no balding. Cover up those edges really good, but keep that same value. Okay? So that's our lightest value, and we want to mimic a medium value. That's what we're trying to create right here in between the lightest and the darkest. So we know we have to push a little bit harder, but we don't want to push too hard because we don't want that darkest value that we have there on the right side of the cube. So start lighter. If you need to get darker, you can always go back and add more color, but it's a lot harder to take away color. So always remember to start lighter and work your way darker. And then just fill in this cube using that medium value.